and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is one that really excites me because today we are trying the new foundation from Charlotte Tilbury. This is her Charlotte Tilbury's Beautiful Skin Foundation. And if you know me, I like foundation that looks like skin and feels very light on the face, and it claims just like that. And it also has good for your skin ingredients like hyaluronic acid. So it's a hybrid between a foundation and a skincare product. So I'm really looking forward to testing this. So on their website, it says Beautiful Skin Foundation gives everyone skin that looks beautifully hydrated, plumper, smoother, and brighter. This is how my skin looks like before the foundation. So I have pores around my cheeks, and then I have redness here. And I usually am oily on my T-zone and dry on some parts, especially on the side of my nose. It's winter now here in Canada, so the side of my nose is very irritated as well. So we'll test it out. So here are the claims of this foundation. It hydrates, it has hyaluronic acid that floods the skin with moisture and revitalizes the skin's outer visible layers. It smooths. It has Vicks Active to help decrease the appearance of oiliness and visibly reduce the look of shine and pores. It brightens. It has Rose Complex that targets all signs of stress in the skin, including dullness, dryness, pigmentation, dark circles for skin that looks brighter, smoother, hydrated, and more youthful. It evens with Hyalura Smooth that targets uneven texture, dryness, and dullness, and locks in moisture for a fresher, plumper, smoother, and even-looking skin tone. It also plumps with coconut extract that improves skin ability to hold water by helping strengthen the skin's barrier over time for plumper, younger-looking skin. It defends with CT Defense. It prevents pollutant particles from penetrating the skin and strengthens the skin's barrier to improve skin quality over time for more healthy-looking skin. And it's also long-lasting with 16-hour wear. So a lot of claims. I'm very excited, so let's test it out. So this costs 55 Canadian dollars for 30 ml, which is, I think, on the pricey side. But if you think about it, this is a foundation and a skincare in one, so I think it's worth it. I like the packaging of this foundation. I like the tube, I like the pump. It's very sleek, like what you would expect from Charlotte Tilbury. But I really like this because I know I can really get the product out from this foundation, because when it's in a bottle, it's really hard to push out the foundation to the last drop. So I like this packaging, and it's also recyclable, so it's a plus. And if you go to her website, you can actually put engraving on this cap. So if you want to gift it to someone, that would be a nice personal touch. So on my right side, I'm going to use a sponge, and then on my left side, I'm going to use a brush. I got the shade 6N, which is a neutral shade. So that's how it looks like. I was expecting it to be a little thinner, but it's actually thick. It doesn't really drip on my hand. But before I forget, let's do skin prep first. I really want to see how the foundation performs with what I usually use on my skin before putting on foundation. So I'm going to use the Makeup Primer Spray from Scandinavia, and this one has oil control. I always use this with my clients. And then I'm just gonna let it dry for a bit. I already put on my moisturizer, and then I'm going to put on this e.l.f. Putty Primer, and it's actually a really good primer. So I'm gonna concentrate this on my cheeks and also on my nose, on my forehead. Oh, I think I put too much. So I guess we're gonna prime my face all over. So let's start with my right side with a sponge. It's actually dripping now. See if it... Oh yes! It matches my skin tone. So this is 6N. I feel like it actually has a medium coverage, I think. I was thinking because it's called Beautiful Skin and it has this hyaluronic acid and stuff like that, that it would kind of look like the MAC fluid foundation. But it actually has good coverage. Let's see if I can put more on that redness over there. It didn't really cover the redness fully, but it's not as bad as when I didn't have any foundation. Oh, look at that glow. As for my pores, I can still see my pores. You can see that the texture is still there. I love the glow, but when it comes to like hiding my pores, I don't think it's doing so much. So let's start with one layer. That's how it looks like. This is without the foundation, and this is with the foundation. Now I'm going to do one pump on the other side using a brush. Oh, the brush really ate all the foundation. Hold on. If you're using a brush, expect it to be very sheer. I don't like the brush side. It's very sheer. Like it's the same one pump, but as you can see, this has more coverage than my left. Okay, I'm not happy about that, so I'm going to put one more pump and I'm going to use my sponge on my left side because right now they look like two different foundations. Okay, now they look the same. I'm just going to put like half a pump on my right side because now my left side looks like it's full coverage while this one is like medium coverage. So just half a pump. And I'm going to concentrate in the center of my cheek. And also on the, oh! It's actually really hiding my red spot over there. Oh my god, looking at the camera, it looks like I have that Korean glass skin. Like look at that glow. And even on this side. I would say that on the side of my cheeks though, my pores still looks very visible. And I really don't expect a foundation that's very dewy to really hide my pores. I think I really have to put powder on that part to blur out my pores. But overall, this is like a very Korean glass skin look. It's very dewy without looking like you're a hot, greasy mess. It's very comfortable on, and I can't believe that it actually has a medium to full coverage. My red spot over here is pretty much hidden and it's very comfortable on. It's very light on the face. I would say it's very hydrating. It's still very damp on my face. I'm also going to show you what my cream products look like on top of this foundation, just so we can see if this is a good base for other makeup like our concealer, our bronzer, or our blush. So I'll start with my concealer. Today I'm going to use this Marc Jacobs concealer, and this is in the shade Medium 33. It's very creamy, so I think that this will be perfect with this foundation. I actually really like this. I'm going to add more on that part. It's a good base. Like my concealer is actually really, wow, it's just melting with the foundation. I didn't have to put a lot of concealer under my eyes because it actually has good coverage. Now off to my bronzer. Going to put some there near my forehead. I'm going to spray a little of my primer spray with my brush. Oh wow, it really blends well with the foundation. Like, I have no problems with it. I guess it's because of the hyaluronic acid, because of the coconut. It's like really giving your skin like this moisture So like those cream products just glide smoothly on your skin. Wow, I've never blended my bronzer this fast. Oh wow, and I just have to tap it. Usually I have to like drag it, or like tapping it on would instantly blend it. Wow. Usually I would also see like some streaks of my bronzer because it's a little hard to blend with other foundation, but this one just really blends well with just tapping it. Let's see with our nose if it will disturb the foundation. Oh wow. Yeah, you won't even see like lines. It just really blends well with the foundation. Wow! That was so fast. Okay, let's try this cream blush. I'm going to use the Rare Beauty in the shade Love. This is so pigmented, so I have to be very careful with this. I think I'm going to start with one dot because it's really pigmented. The first time I tried this, I put two and I was like, oh my gosh, how can I blend it? Oh wow! See how pigmented that is? It's one dot. I think I can do one dot more. I'm gonna go higher. Okay, I'm gonna do 2 dots here. Oh gosh, I love it. Okay, now we're just gonna set everything. I'm just going to use my RCMA translucent powder. I'm oldie but a goodie. I don't want to have like a tint on top of my foundation, so I'm going to wear this because it's just invisible. I feel like this kind of makeup will be perfect for every day because like it's just like a very natural, smooth, everyday face. I'm not going to put a lot of powder on this area because I really want to keep the glow. But I'm going to powder the sides of my face, like on my lash line. Okay, so this is the foundation with a little cream blush, a little bronzer, and a little powder. Looking at the camera and looking at my mirror, I'm very impressed. I look like I have this healthy skin. It doesn't look like I'm wearing makeup. It doesn't look like I'm wearing foundation. It looks like skin, but a healthy skin. It's, oh my gosh. I actually am super in love with this foundation. I'm very impressed. Like, I'm gonna turn on the light on my mirror just so I could really see. Like my pores, you can still see it, but when I put the powder, it kind of hides it. Let me concentrate powder on that pore so that it's not that visible. There, perfect. If you have textured skin or if you have big pores, I think that you really need to prep your skin well and you really need to put powder because with dewy foundations, it's inevitable. Your pores will be visible because it's like a highlighter, right? So it would really highlight the cracks and texture of your skin, your pores, but nothing that a powder can't fix. Right now, I really look like I have a very good skin. So I'm going to finish my face off cam. I'm going to do the rest of my powder makeup. I'll be back and I'll show you the close-up of what this foundation looks like on my face. Okay, I'm back and I put my powder blush, my powder bronzer, my highlighter, and I've also put a little eye makeup on, and I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury's lip liner in Pillow Talk, and I put MAC Hug Me on top. When I was doing most of my powder products, I was thinking, where is that glow? It really mattified my face a bit. I still look like I have beautiful skin, but I miss the dewiness of it. So instead of using my usual makeup finishing spray from Scandinavia, which dries matte, I'm going to use this NYX Dewy Finish Finishing Spray. So now that I've done my makeup, I'm seeing the dryness on my nose. I think it's not because of the foundation. I think it's because I powdered that area after. So you can really see the dryness, and I don't have much of the foundation anymore. I don't know if I should touch it up or just leave it. Maybe I should add a little foundation there and not powder it. Since it claims to last for 16 hours, that should be okay. That's better. If you have dry skin, also, you'd rather not powder. But I have oily skin, so I really can't skip powder. But we'll see after a couple of hours how this foundation would look like on my oily skin. We'll see and check my T-zone, and we'll see if it really keeps the oil at bay, because that's also one of its claims. So I'll update you in a bit, but before that, I'll also show you a photo of how my face looks like without flash, with flash, and how it looks like on natural light. So let's go with the wearability test. On the 4th hour, everything looked good. It actually looks like the first time I put it on. But I had a problem with my dry, flaky skin on the side of my nose. As I've mentioned, it's winter here in Canada, so I usually have runny nose every time I go out. So like that part is very irritated, and I have like flaky skin on this side. And the foundation is not loving it. Like I can really see the dried skin, and the foundation wouldn't really grip onto that part. Like I'm missing the foundation there, and there's a little buildup on the side. And that's pretty much it. That's my only concern on the 4th hour. Now on the 8th hour, which is now, the coverage is still really good. I would say it's a little thinner than the first time I applied it on, but this is actually my preferred look. Like I love that it's still dewy. It looks like my second skin. It's actually perfect. So I really actually like it the more it wears on my skin. But again, I'm having a problem with my nose. Like this part of my nose doesn't have any foundation anymore. I don't know if it's because I wiped it, but like my highlighter is still there. Like my nose contour is still there, so it's part of the foundation rubbed off. So that's the only concern I have on the 8th hour, but it really held my bronzer, my blush, my highlighter. Everything is still intact. So I think as a base for your face makeup, this foundation is really good. So here are my final thoughts. I'm giving this foundation a 4.5 out of 5. It's quite pricey, but I really like the formula of this foundation, and I'm going to get into details with my pros and cons. Honestly, I thought I was going to return this because I was contemplating if I should keep this because it's $55 and I have a lot of foundation, like personal foundation. So if I'm going to add this to my kit, it would cost me a lot because I have to get it in every shade, or like at least 4 shades, and I'm like, do I need this in my kit? I think it would be a good bridal foundation, but because of that tragedy on my nose, I don't think this would be part of my bridal kit. So it would be on my personal makeup kit. And I was thinking, it's $55. Should I keep it or should I just return it? But the more that it stays on my face, the more I'm liking it. So I'm actually going to keep this. I have a lot of pros with this foundation, and let's start with my first pro. So my first pro for this foundation is ease of use. There's a lot of foundations that I have tried that has a lot of learning curve. Like it would work, but only with this primer, only if you do this or do that. But with this foundation, the only thing that I change is using a sponge than the brush, because the brush would really soak up the product. I think it's because of all the good skincare ingredients, and because it's very emollient, like the brush would really soak up those things and it wouldn't really apply well on your face. So the sponge is a better option when applying this foundation. But other than that, it really blends well on my face. My second pro is that it's very light on the face. You wouldn't feel like you have foundation on. And even though I put powder on top of this foundation, like my face don't feel very matte. Like it actually feels soft, not dap, but really not matte. Like even if I put powder on, like you can still feel your skin. Like you have, you know the feeling when you put on your moisturizer? That's how it feels like right now. My next pro is that it looks like second skin. I love foundations that looks like second skin, that doesn't look like you have heavy makeup on. So I really love that about this foundation. It really evened out my skin tone and it even hid the redness I have here on my forehead. And when it comes to coverage, it would actually give you a medium to full coverage. So I like that about this foundation. My next pro is its good shade range. I'm not exactly sure how many shades they have. I'm just gonna put it on the screen. But the 6N was spot on for me. It was a perfect match, and even though I didn't try it on the store, it was a perfect match. Like it's flawless. Like there's no difference between my neck and my face, and I love that. So for shade range, I'm also giving this a thumbs up. And I'm going to sound redundant on this video, but I have never found a foundation that gave me like a really good Korean glass skin. Like usually I have to add something to the foundation to achieve that glass skin look, and it's either going to be super dewy or not at all. But this one is perfect. I didn't have to put or add any oils to it. I didn't have to mix it with another skincare product. It just gave me that glow and coverage. I really look like I have very good skin with this foundation on. Now for my cons. I think that it's a bit pricey for a 30 ml foundation, but I think it's worth the money considering that it's a foundation and skincare in one. I still have to try it out a few more days or a few more weeks to know if this has really good skincare benefits, because I can't tell you just with one use, but I'll definitely update you on the description bar below. And my last con is, even though my entire face looks good on the 8 hour, I just didn't like that it didn't stay on my nose, like on this part, and where my skin is peeling off on the side of my nose, it doesn't really cover that and didn't stay on that, and there's a little build-up there. So that's what I don't like about this foundation. But overall, I'm very impressed on how this foundation performed. I even can't help myself but look at the mirror, look at my phone, look at my photos, because my skin looks really healthy and glowy, and again, it looks like I have the Korean glass skin. It's amazing. I really like it. I'm very impressed with this foundation. And even though I have cons with this foundation, I feel like it can be easily solved. Like with my nose, I usually use the MAC paint pot, so the foundation will grip better. And then on the side of my nose where it's very dry, I usually just put jojoba oil or a really moisturizing primer, so it would really help with that flakiness. Would I recommend this to people with oily skin? I think if you have oily skin, it's good to have a primer like the Scandinavia makeup primer that has oil control to it, because I think that really helped in controlling my oil as well. I think if you have dehydrated skin, I think that this foundation will work for you because it's very moisturizing. And I have like fine lines over here on the side of my cheeks because that's a little bit dry there, and that's not that visible anymore when I put the foundation. But if you have dry skin with skin peeling, and if you have textured skin, I don't think that this would be a perfect foundation for you, because I think that it would just move on that part. It wouldn't stick to those flaky skin on your face. I would also recommend this to people with mature skin. I think that this would be a good foundation because it doesn't highlight any fine lines on my face, and it just gives you that, again, healthy glow. And if you don't like the hefty price of this foundation, I think that the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Hydrating Foundation is a good dupe for this foundation. I'm gonna swatch it on my hand so you guys can see. So this is the ColourPop, and this is the Charlotte Tilbury. The color pop is a little watery than the Charlotte Tilbury. And coverage-wise, I think that the Charlotte Tilbury will give you more coverage than the color pop. I think that they are quite similar because both of them has hyaluronic acid, and this one has coconut water. And I remember coconut as part of Charlotte Tilbury's ingredient as well. But when I was reviewing my review on this foundation, which I'm going to put the link down below, this is also dewy, but this is like that perfect dewy finish. I like this a tad bit more than the color pop, only because I feel like this has the perfect amount of dewiness and the perfect amount of coverage. And I feel like this looks more natural than the color pop. And mind you, this already looks like second skin, but I just really like how this looks on my skin than the color pop. But if you're looking for a dupe and you don't want to spend $55 for foundation, I think that the color pop Pretty Fresh foundation is a good dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury foundation. So that's it. That's my review on the new Charlotte Tilbury's Beautiful Skin Foundation. I hope that you find this video helpful. Please also check out my playlist where I review drugstore and high-end foundations. I'm going to put a card link here, or I'm going to put it on the description bar below. So if you find this video helpful, don't forget to like this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll always be updated once a new video is out. Thank you so much once again for watching. I'll see you on my next one.